In the game of gods, few have ever ruled like this. Wilt bent physics, Magic bent time, Jordan bent reality itself. But LeBron James, he bent history. From HardWood prophets to immortal dynasties, every era has had its chosen one. But never one chosen before he even arrived. Before his first professional dribble, his name was carved beside legends. Before his first championship, he carried a city's curse on his back. And before his first wrinkle, he'd already outlasted empires. At 6 feet 9 inches, 250 pounds, born in the concrete shadows of Akron, Ohio, he was sculpted like Hercules, wired like Einstein, and destined like Caesar. A kid who grew up without a father because the father of modern basketball, the bridge between eras, the living link between Jordan's ruthlessness, Magic's vision, and Kobe's fire. 2 decades, 4 championships, 4 MVPs, 10 finals, 1 unbreakable legend. This isn't just a story about basketball. It's the story of a man who defied time itself and turned prophecy into permanence. This is the rise of LeBron James, the prodigy who became forever. Before the lights, before the headlines, before the billions, there was a boy from Akron, born on December 30th, 1984, to a single mother fighting to survive. LeBron Raymone James grew up in the noise of struggle and the silence of absence. No father, no wealth, just a dream and a basketball. Gloria James moved her son from apartment to apartment, chasing stability that never came. But inside every cracked wall, LeBron saw a vision, not of escape, but of empire. By the time he was 14, his name was echoing through Ohio gyms. By 16, he was on Sports Illustrated's cover, the chosen one. And by 18, ESPN was broadcasting his high school games like the second coming of Jordan himself. At St. Vincent St. Mary High School, he wasn't just dominating teenagers, he was dismantling the illusion of limits. He moved like a guard, jumped like a god, and passed like he was born with X-ray vision. Every dunk was a declaration, every pass a prophecy. The world didn't wait for LeBron James to arrive, it demanded him. And when draft night came in 2003, destiny didn't knock, it roared. The Cleveland Cavaliers selected their hometown savior with the first overall pick. A teenager already burdened with a man's expectations. He wasn't joining a franchise, he was resurrecting one. The cameras flashed, the city cheered, and the world leaned forward not to see if he'd succeed, but to see if perfection was finally possible. The kid from Akron had become the hope of Ohio. And as he laced up his first pair of NBA sneakers, the legend was about to begin. October 29th, 2003, Sacramento, California. An 18-year-old kid from Akron, still barely out of high school halls, steps onto the court against men twice his age. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't blink, he just arrives. LeBron James' first NBA game wasn't a debut, it was a declaration. 25 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Smooth, electric, effortless. Every move looked preordained, as if destiny itself was running point. But beneath the applause, pressure was brewing. Cleveland's veterans, men fighting for contracts and relevance, weren't ready to follow a teenager crowned the chosen one. Ricky Davis wanted his shots. The locker room wanted hierarchy. But LeBron only wanted to win. Night after night, he battled through losses, criticism, and whispers that he couldn't lead yet. Every defeat became fuel, every doubt became drive. When fans saw a boy, his teammates began to see a general. By mid-season, the Cavs were still losing, but LeBron was learning. He wasn't just scoring, he was commanding. Directing traffic, reading defenses, making passes that bent logic. It wasn't flash, it was foresight. By the end of his rookie year, he had averaged 20.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists, joining Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson in history's rarest company. The Cavs missed the playoffs, but the league had witnessed something new. A teenager with the mind of a veteran, the heart of a soldier, and the vision of a king. The prophecy hadn't been proven yet, but it was alive, and every opponent in the league could feel it. The beginning of an era that would reshape basketball forever. By his second season, LeBron James was no longer a rookie. He was a revolution. He turned the Cavaliers from a punchline into a problem. Night after night, arenas sold out just to witness this phenomenon. He wasn't just playing basketball, he was rewriting its language. In 2005, he averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Numbers unseen since the days of Oscar Robertson. By 2006, he led Cleveland back to the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. And in 2007, he delivered the unthinkable, dragging a flawed Cavaliers roster through the Eastern Conference all the way to the NBA Finals. Against the Detroit Pistons, the league's defensive juggernaut, he entered myth. Game 5, double overtime. LeBron scored 25 points, 29 of Cleveland's final 30. Every jumper, every drive, every impossible finish felt like destiny on repeat. When the buzzer sounded, Detroit's dynasty had fallen, and a 22-year-old kid stood at the throne. The finals ended in a sweep against the Spurs, but the world saw what Cleveland saw first. This wasn't potential anymore. This was power. Over the next 3 seasons, LeBron became a human highlight reel and a 2-time MVP. He averaged near triple-doubles, made weak teams look like contenders, and ruled the league in efficiency and control. But beneath the numbers was frustration. Brilliance trapped in mediocrity. He had conquered everything except the one thing that mattered most: a ring. Cleveland had given him love. LeBron had given them life. But even a king can't rule without a crown. And so, in the summer of 2010, he made a decision that would change basketball forever. July 8, 2010, millions of eyes glued to television screens. 7 words that shattered innocence and ignited fury. I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Overnight, the hero of Ohio became basketball's public enemy number 1. Public enemy number 1. Jerseys burned. Fans cursed his name. Even legends questioned his heart. But LeBron James didn't run from the hate. He used it. He wanted pressure. He wanted expectation. He wanted greatness. In Miami, he joined Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, 3 supernovas forming a new dynasty. But the world didn't cheer. They demanded failure. And in 2011, they got it. The finals against Dallas became a nightmare. LeBron disappeared. The Heat crumbled, and critics crowned him a fraud. For the first time, the king fell, hard. But pain is the price of evolution. LeBron returned a different beast. In 2012, he silenced the world. 45 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists against Boston in Game 6. Cold, ruthless, unstoppable. The Heat went on to win back-to-back championships in 2012 and 2013. LeBron captured 2 Finals MVPs and became a machine of precision, a perfect balance of power, intellect, and control. The villain became inevitable. By 2014, his Miami reign was complete. 4 finals, 2 rings, a rebuilt reputation. He had proven he could win anywhere. But something was missing. Legacy isn't built on escape, it's built on return. And deep inside, the king knew where his story truly belonged. It wasn't in the sun-soaked lights of South Beach. It was in the blue-collar shadows of home. So once again, the prodigy turned his eyes toward Ohio. This time, not for glory, but for redemption. July 11, 2014. 4 years after breaking Cleveland's heart, LeBron James wrote the words that healed it. I'm coming home. It wasn't about fame or comfort. It was about unfinished business. He returned to a city still aching for redemption, a city that needed its prodigal son to finish the prophecy he started. With Kyrie Irving's brilliance and Kevin Love's arrival, Cleveland had hope again. But destiny doesn't come easy. In 2015, injuries crippled the Cavaliers. LeBron still dragged them to the finals, averaging nearly a triple-double, but fell short to the Golden State Warriors. He didn't complain, he recalibrated. And 1 year later, he faced them again. Only this time, the challenge was historic. The 73-9 Warriors, the greatest regular season team ever, led the finals 3-1. No team had ever come back from that deficit. But LeBron James isn't no team. Game 5, 41 points. Game 6, 41 again. Every shot a statement, every block a war cry. And in Game 7, with everything on the line, came the block. Andre Iguodala sprinting for history, LeBron chasing it down. One rejection that redefined greatness. Moments later, Kyrie buried the shot that sealed immortality. Cleveland, a city cursed for half a century, erupted. LeBron collapsed to the floor in tears, screaming, "Cleveland, this is for you!" He had done it. The kid from Akron had delivered the impossible. He didn't just win a championship, he resurrected a city's soul. From betrayal to forgiveness, from hate to holiness, the king had finally claimed his crown. When the confetti settled in Cleveland, many thought the story was over. But LeBron James wasn't chasing closure. He was chasing eternity. In 2018, he made another bold move, signing with the Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise built on legends. Magic, Kareem, Kobe now opened its gates to a king. Critics said he was done, too old, too distracted. But LeBron doesn't age, he evolves. The first season brought turmoil, injuries, missed playoffs. The doubters returned louder than ever. Then in 2020, the world stopped. A global pandemic, the tragic death of Kobe Bryant. And yet, through darkness, LeBron rose again. In the NBA bubble, isolated from family and friends, he led the Lakers with relentless focus. He averaged 27 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, a 35-year-old general commanding a war on silence. When the dust settled, he delivered the Lakers their 17th championship, tying Boston's all-time record. 4 rings, 4 finals MVPs. Legacy solidified. But the story refused to end. In 2023, LeBron James shattered the unthinkable. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record, 38,387 points, a number once thought untouchable. He did it not with flash, but with consistency. 2 decades of excellence, night after night. Even now, in year 21, he's still averaging 25, 7, and 7, still dunking on defenders young enough to call him Sir. Every drive, every fadeaway, every and one whispers the same truth. You can't stop time when time wears number 6. LeBron James didn't just survive eras, he became the era. Longevity isn't supposed to look like this. 21 seasons in, and LeBron James still performs like he's aging in reverse. But greatness isn't just measured by points or rings. It's measured by the moments that refuse to end. Since January 6, 2007, LeBron has scored at least 10 points in every single game he's played. 1,222 consecutive games, and counting. That's 17 years of never having an off night. Durant, Curry, Giannis, they've all had their slumps. LeBron never did. The streak stands like a monument to discipline, durability, and dominance. He's also averaged over 1-1 per game for his entire career. A stat so absurd it defies contact, physics, and logic itself. Grab his arms, foul his body, it doesn't matter. He finishes anyway. Even at 39, he recorded 74 and 1s in 71 games, bullying defenders who weren't even alive when he entered the league. And then there's the mystery. Across more than 1,700 games, LeBron has never finished with exactly 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists, the perfect balance that symbolizes his career. He's come within a single stat 14 times, but never hit it exactly. It's as if the universe itself refuses to let him be mathematically perfect, because his perfection lives in motion. Combine his all-time rankings, first in points, second in assists, top 10 in rebounds, and you realize no player in history has mastered every dimension of the game quite like him. LeBron James is no longer chasing records. He's redefining what's humanly possible. And every time he steps on the court, he doesn't just compete, he continues his conversation with immortality. 21 seasons later, the King still walks among gods. Now, as whispers grow louder that this may be his last dance, LeBron James finds himself in one final chapter, standing beside a new prodigy, Luka Dončić, the Slovenian wonder who grew up watching him reign. It's poetry, the legend who once carried the torch, now passing it to a generation that calls him idol. The mentor and the heir, side by side, blurring the line between past and future. If this truly is LeBron's final season, he leaves the game not as a player, but as a pillar. Every young star, Giannis, Luka, Tatum, Wembanyama, is chasing standards he created. The blueprint of modern greatness is him. Longevity, leadership, versatility, IQ, strength, all born from his mold. He changed how athletes build empires, how players control their destinies, how greatness is measured. He turned basketball into a kingdom and ruled it longer than anyone ever has. Is he the greatest of all time? That's the question numbers can't answer, because the argument isn't about statistics anymore. It's about impact. Jordan inspired a generation to dream. LeBron built one that believed they could be the dream. From Akron's cracked courts to the NBA's mountaintop, he carried the weight of prophecy and never once dropped it. He is proof that legends don't fade, they evolve. And when the King finally lays down his crown, his echo will still bounce off every backboard, every banner, every heartbeat of the game he redefined. LeBron James, the man, the myth, the immortal. Long live the King!